Hey, welcome to day 6 of our Wait No More video devotional. We are on a journey as a church right now, and we would say every year is a special year to be part of Mission, but right now is unique. And we have just begun a 2-year generosity journey called Wait No More. So right now we're beginning this, and today is day 6 of a 20-day devotional to help us collectively as a church get into the Word of God every single day. This is where we will find strength, courage, and wisdom. So great job being here for day 6. And today's passage I want to read to us is from the Joshua story that we're studying. It says this at the very end of Joshua chapter 1, that Joshua was now moving from receiving this wisdom and command from God to get ready to go. Then he gives that command to his leaders. Then Joshua, starting in chapter 2, does this. It's really interesting. Joshua chapter 2, it says, "Then Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent 2 spies from..." Now, if you're reading in the Bible right now, as I'm reading, we just came to a word that you're like, I'm not sure I want to say that out loud. And if you're reading the New Living Translation, it says Acacia Grove. But if you're reading the NIV, the way that you pronounce this word, it's the area or the town that these 2 spies were camped out in, that were part of God's people at this time. The way you pronounce this town is Shittim. Shittim. Stephen, that's how you say it, okay? Shittim. And it's just important. You can read it on your own. It's important to pronounce it right. If you're reading this out loud as a family around the table, you're welcome. You can pronounce it correctly. Shittim. So everyone say Shittim, Shittim. So this is where these 2 guys were from. And just like any great leader, what Joshua does is he's like, all right, I want to experiment a little bit. I want to get out there and test some things. I want to kind of probe and get into the land west of the Jordan to see what I need to see. Specifically in this case, he wants them to go and check out Jericho. And so what a great leadership principle we see. But we see Joshua do something interesting. To me, it was interesting that he doesn't send 12 spies, he sends 2. Now, I don't know because the Word of God doesn't tell us, but this is one of those conversations I'd like to have with Joshua. Why didn't he send 12? Well, we know that Joshua was part of the spies that Moses sent out way back in the day, over 40 years before this moment. Moses sent out 12. Well, 2 of the 12 came back saying, let's go, it's go time, Joshua and Caleb. But here, Joshua sends how many spies? Answer, 2. I don't know. Is Joshua like, yeah, we're not doing 12 again, we're sending out 2. And so he does this secretly. He sends out 2 to go and check out land west of the Jordan, to then come back to Joshua to give him a report. Now, the key question I want us to explore today is this: what do we find in the land of faith? What do we find in the land of faith? Now, for us as New Testament Christians, part of the New Covenant, the land that we are moving towards to occupy and experience isn't a physical land like it was for them. It's a spiritual land. Jesus talked about that spiritual land being life that is life to the full, the abundant life, the life that is spirit empowered in relationship with God. And so our land that you and I are called to cross over and experience is this life of faith. It's a spiritual reality. It isn't physical as much as it is spiritual. So what do we find in the land of faith? Well, as we can read on in chapter 2, those 2 spies, they crossed over the Jordan at flood stage and they began to explore and they found some really important things. Similarly, we will find some really important things as we cross over and enter the land of faith. For many of you in our church, this is the first time you've ever given to a church before. This is the first financial, capital campaign like this that you've ever been a part of. There's a lot of us, we've been part of things like this before, where we've crossed over from what's comfortable. We've moved towards what is courageous. We are giving not just from a place of convenience, but no, we're moving towards sacrificial generosity. What is that? That's the land of faith. What do we find in the land of faith? Well, here's what we find. We find people. We find people that need Jesus. When you and I cross over into the land of faith, when we say yes, when God says go, we cross over and we find people that need Jesus. This is one of the biggest reasons we're saying it's time to expand as a church. Why? There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that do not yet follow Jesus. And this is what we see in chapter 2. As the two spies left their area and crossed over, they found Rahab, and you can read of her story. What an incredible story she has. You and I, as we cross over in great faith, entering the land of faith, you and I will run into people. We will see our new auditorium filled up with new people, our alpha courses overflowing down the road with new people, our missional communities being equipped and sent out to reach new people. We will find people. Secondly, we will find power. We will. When we cross over into the land of faith, you and I will discover a power not our own. It's incredible the report that the two spies bring back to Joshua. They say to Joshua, at the end of chapter 2, let me just read it for you and then I'll wrap up. They come back and they said to Joshua, "The Lord has surely given the whole land into our hands. All the people are melting in fear because of us." And we're going to continue to talk about this. But God never says go to places and spaces where he is not already at, saying, listen, I am already ahead of you. I am clearing the land. I am there. I'm now saying come. And this is what they are experiencing. They are experiencing a power not their own. They're experiencing how their great God and our great God is the one who goes before us. And friends, what we will find in the land of faith is the same thing. We will find people that need Jesus. And you and I will experience a power not our own. When we follow through, ask, believe, and commit, we will see, oh my goodness, we are experiencing a power not our own as you and I are moving beyond our Jordan to the west, to the land of faith, not by sight, not by what we can pull off, but only what can be done by the very power of God. This is the end of day 6. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 7.